Okay, this is Mr. Bull. This is my son's teacher, and I'm going to talk to him about about a meeting, parent-teacher meeting with the parent. So it's my parent-teacher meeting. So I just came to ask you some questions like, um, how can I get my grades up?
Your grades?
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, Can we restart? I didn't realize we were role playing here.
How?
Here, restart it. Restart it. 'Cause it's all. I'm acting like a fool now. I'll start moving my hands around a lot.
You all right?
Um, how are you the student? Are you pretending to be a student right now?
I am a student.
No, are you pretending to be my student right now?
I'm asking you about my grades. Like, how can I get them up? What's the best thing for me to do?
Your personal grades.
Right.
I don't know. I think that would require me to understand a little bit more where your areas of improvement are. So I think we should probably start by looking at what are strengths and weaknesses that you have in terms of academics, and then go from there with a plan on how to get your grades up. For example, I think that one of the things that typically we find with students in particular that hurts grades is writing and also assessments. So assessments meaning tests and quizzes. If there is a test or a quiz coming up, the best way to do it is to study for the test or for the quiz, and to use some foolproof study techniques that people have been using forever. My favorite being creating flashcards of all the key terms and ideas that are going to appear on the assessment.
Or what about for a final?
For a final exam?
Yeah, my final.
So for your final exam, typically what I would recommend, and we did good finals as well at our school. So for a final exam, typically what I would recommend is going back through all your notes from the course and all your previous assessments, tests, quizzes, and assignments that you've done, and trying to create a study guide of key terms and concepts and those kind of things. And I usually run a running Word document on my computer when I'm taking a class for those kind of things. And then when it comes to test time, I like to turn everything into flashcards because that is my favorite type of study aid. But essentially what you do is you take a study guide that has what do I need to know, including the terms and central ideas, and then also things like any important information that your professors have told you is definitely going to be on the test, and then going through and taking those and trying to create flashcards where you'd have the term or the definition on one side, and then on the other side any of the key information that you need to know. And then when you go through and review, the best way that I study personally is I'll take the flashcards, the one stack. I'll go through and I'll do all the ones that I know, and I'll put them in a pile to my right. And if I don't know them right away, I'll put them in a pile to my left. And that way I'm not restudying the ones that I know constantly, and I can narrow it down to what I really need to focus on improving. And I'll go all the way through until until they're all in the pile on my right. And that's usually how I get to memorize information.
Okay, now how can I bring my grade up? Like, say I got a C on my last test, and I gotta write a paper per se for I gotta write a paper about let me see, what is that? Oh, here we go. Okay, per se I have to write about the media and the cycles that causes the conflicts. Now, how would I start that?
Are you writing an argumentative paper, or are you writing a research paper where you're just presenting information?
Basically, like you read and you write what the media starts, like the cycle, like say in the beginning, like this is how this started, or say somebody media harps on everything negative. So it's like how would I start that?
So you're trying to make the argument that the media starts and harps on the negative rather than the
Right.
positive. So you're going to start first by researching and making sure that you have accurate data and accurate research to back up what that point. And that's really like kind of the main underlying argument of your paper. So that'll turn into your thesis statement, which is that the media is presenting negative images and harps on the negative rather than focusing on the positive. So you'd start first by researching and then coming up with as much evidence as you can of that point, and then you'd take that argument and you would break it down from there and kind of analyze the research that you have and decide how your research and how your evidence, because your research is just the same thing as your evidence, is going to support your argument. And typically the way that we would teach writing would be to use your evidence as in your like actual citation, where you're actually word for word citing the text, and then you're going through and you're analyzing it and explaining how that proves your point that the media harps on the negative.
Okay, but I want to turn it into a PowerPoint.
Into a PowerPoint now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought you were writing a paper. Are you going to present the PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going to start with the same. You're always going to start at research,
Right.
because that's where your knowledge base is going to come from. And if that's going to be your argument, you're going to start by researching, and then you're going to pretty much do the same thing. You can take a paper and you can break it into PowerPoint. The only thing that you want to focus on with PowerPoint is not being as verbose and not having as many words as you would in a paper, but presenting the big ideas, and then through your presentation, taking those. PowerPoint would almost be more like an outline of a paper where you'd have the big ideas in there, and then you would do essentially the part where you're filling it in and explaining it through your presentation. And you'd probably just keep notes for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you
You're welcome.
for your time.